I'm EJ Scott and I'm researcher for Ducky, who are purveyors of progressive working class entertainment. Part of what we wanted to do with Ducky and the research process was to come here and talk to local people about their memories of Hull and the LGBTQI community in Hull here. A lot of that history tends to be overlooked because queer people used to have to hide their lives. For example, they may have had to hide for fear of discrimination or fear of violence or not wanting to tell their families, or even 50 years ago because they were worried about it being illegal and were scared of the law. From this Ducky research project, we're building an archive of material. We've got oral testimonies that have recorded people's stories. We're taking lots of photographs, and we urge people to come forward as well if they do have photos that they want to contribute, because as a legacy of the project, we do want to leave an archive that people in 50 years' time can come back to and see what was going on in Hull in 2017. There's a really diverse range of local queer celebrities that we've come across, and it's been local queer people that have told us the stories of them. There's Ruth and the Rudins, and they were a lesbian band and in the 1980s, and they used to play at the Railway Bar. And Ruth has an incredible voice, and she sings these quite extraordinary renditions of like crooning love songs. There's Bobby Mandrell, absolute icon in the town. And what I think is particularly interesting about Bobby Mandrell is that they used to go in to working men's clubs. And these are, clubs that are full of ordinary working people, wonderful people, but just living everyday normal kinds of lives. And Bobby would go in and transform themselves on stage and do these incredible drag acts with huge wigs and incredible costumes. Apparently he has over 300 wigs and costumes in his wardrobe. So really, that's evidence of a very long history of performance. So here's Bobby going into these clubs, entertaining people who aren't queer, totally accepted, they're enjoying a fun night out, and is part of Hull's culture and history, and yet it was against the law to be gay. And so I think it shows sort of a different side to Hull that's quite open-minded and accepting. There was Genesis P. Orridge and Cozy Fanny Tutti, and they were part of an art collective. Genesis started an art collective called Coombe, and they very famously ran an art exhibition in London called Prostitution, where the two of them were absolutely slated in the popular media and were called wreckers of civilization. Another quite incredible woman is Ricky Elendil. She's now widely known as a trans activist, and she does beautiful motivational speaking and diversity training throughout the UK. So by doing this research here and making it very local and Hull-centric, we're reminding people of the diversity of their city, how interesting it is, the queer fabric of society that's always been here. It may have been forgotten, it may have been overlooked, at one time it may have been illegal, but it's very much alive, and it always has been. I think that this 50 years celebration of how far we've come and remembering that history is also about remembering where we still need to go.